Welcome back to a very basic space program. You find us on the launch pad with them. Well, it's the Javelin 25 with 4 solid rockets strapped to the side of it because we're putting a station up. We've had some failures, but I'm sure this will go fine. Please join me. Right, so we are launching Earth Gateway 1. It has been a while since we've had a station around the Earth. I can't actually remember how many years in-game it is. Oh, we're just going to light the candle. We're starting the main engine there on the Javelin 25++, we call this. Oh, solids are away. So yeah, Javelin, let's start off with the craft. So the craft is the Javelin 25. You've seen this launch a few times now, I think. This is the plus variety, which basically means it's got 4 sets of solids, so plus 1 set, plus 2 set, so 2 pairs. It is supposed to put in excess of 25 tons in orbit. This is in excess of 25 tons, hence the 4 boosters on it. We can put another set of boosters on. It does have the ability to fit another set of boosters on, so I can go plus, and I think I have a craft lined up with that, so you get to see a lot of solids going on. Anyway, this is going to take this and launch it into hopefully the same plane as the moon. And the craft on top is Earth Gateway 1 actually, just in case we launch another one. We might launch 2. So Earth Gateway, our previous stations have been interesting. Our first station was I can't remember what it was called now. It was Dawn or something like that. Anyway, it was very much like a Salute one. It was very simple. We used fuel cells. We didn't really have the solar panels, I think, at the time to really run it for very long. So fuel cells, we were going to refuel the fuel cells with something and see what happened. But in the end, I think we had 1 crew visit it, and that was about it. It completed a mission which was to stay in space for a reasonable amount of time. I think it was like 2 weeks or a week or something. And then we brought it down. It was very small, very cramped, not particularly fun. It burned up on re-entry. And then we launched the next station. And the next station was a much bigger affair. It was going to be modular, it was going to be chunky, it was going to be wonderful. And we had this big docking port in the center that we were going to use for building the core of the station, so it was nice and rigid. We didn't have any problems with it. And so we launched that. We launched up its companion part. We tried to dock the 2 of them together. I spent about 2 hours trying to dock them together because interestingly, those docking ports are very finicky as to about what you do with them, and you also can't attach anything on either end, so it was only 1 docking port each and all sorts of things like that. So there was that, and we got it working, and we put a crew on board, and then we sent a second crew up, and we figured out that actually they were all going to basically run out of oxygen because there was some sort of oxygen leak. We never really figured what the problem was. I actually went back and simulated it, and it was a case of it was like infinite oxygen usage. I'm not entirely sure what it was. So anyway, that was because we were using oxygen as a pressurant. I think we're now on this station using purely nitrogen as a pressurant, which will probably turn out to be a bad idea because no doubt the craft I send up to dock to it will use nitrogen as a pressurant, but we will see. I might see if we can change that. We'll maybe modify the Dog 4E, I think we're on, to use a nitrogen pressurant just to try and stop having mixed pressurant problems, because I wonder whether that is the problem. Right, our solids are away. I've actually set them to depart a little earlier than normal because I noticed they hang around. When we've had those solids before, they do burn for a long time and they don't really give thrust. You see, they fell away there. They didn't have enough thrust to keep themselves going forward, so they're a menace to us pretty much. So yeah, let's get into this anyway. We're aiming for a 250 kilometer circular orbit in plane with the moon. That will mean that hopefully, I say this hopefully, we will actually be able to put craft above and below it in orbit and have them rendezvous. I don't really want my crewed missions to actually go through the Van Allen belts too much because, well, we've seen radiation is not good for these craft. We've seen it's not good for my crew, actually. We've seen that situation before, haven't we? So we're going to do that. We're going to try and keep them safe. On board, we should be able to have crew on there, or a small crew, 2 or 3 crew members, for, I think, probably 200 days. Two crew, probably 200 days, 300 days. And I think they should be okay. I think they should be surviving that. Oh, there we go. First stage is over. We're going to fire the second stage. Oh, there we go. Engine is gone. Oh, and the fairings have gone as well. Nice and easy. You'll notice the fairings were actually set to stage when that stage finished or when that stage kicked in. The reason for that was they're big fairings, and I didn't want them going towards the end of the other thruster. You will notice this thing is a bit interesting. What is this, is what you're actually asking yourself. You'll find out later. I have done some configging. Oh, our solar panel, our communications are up. The solar panels are set not to deploy. I thought I'd turn the communications off. No, they're still on. Okay, so we do have comms at least. So let's go through the craft. Let's have a look what we've got. So we've got a little bit of fuel store down here. That's for our little thruster engines here and for RCS. We've got some big RCS just in case we have a lot of stuff docked. We've got docking ports along the bottom there. They are the Apollo type, so we can put crew on. We can transfer crew across. I don't feel guilty about it. We have a science module, just in case I want to do some science. I thought it'd be quite cool just to have it. It's excess. We don't need it, but yeah. We have a little crew tube there. And in it we have some small docking ports. If I want to send up craft that are just basically refuelers or anything like that, we could do that. We could also send up fuel stores and dock them there. That would be a possibility. And then at the top we've got habitation, which is this big habitation unit. I think it's the most advanced one we've got actually access to. And it again uses nitrogen scrubbers. We've got the vacuum, so we've got nitrogen pressure and vacuum scrubbers, because of course we've now got the tech for vacuum scrubbers. So we've got vacuum scrubbers absolutely everywhere. Science is required. Oh, how exciting! I wonder how that works. We could disable that crew report. We could enable that. We need science in order for that to do stuff. I wonder if that works. I wonder how that science lab works. Now, is it science is required or scientist is required? Ooh, I wonder what the science lab does. I've not really used the science lab forever in RP-1. I don't know if it does anything or whether we'll just send a scientist up and it'll be funny. So we could send a scientist up and a pilot, dock them and try that out. We have plenty of fuel supplies. We've also got some radiators because I can, and they looked cool. That was the reason we put them there. I believe, are they attached to anything? Are they attached to, I think they're attached to these, yeah, we've got these attached to water, oxygen, food. Just so the food doesn't go off, obviously. That's the reason. That's the only reason they're there. That's it, perfectly. Right, we've got 3,000 meters per second left in this tank. We might actually have a lot more Delta V than I thought we had. I thought we were going to be tight for Delta V, but this could actually be okay. It will be interesting to see, actually, thinking about it. What I would do is maybe turn this around once it gets in orbit and deorbit it, because, you know, leaving rubbish in space is not something we should be doing, particularly when we've got this thing on orbit. So we'll maybe do that. I'll think about it. I'll think about doing that. We might not actually do it. Right, so we're coming up. It's going to be a while, is it? We've got about 3 minutes. You know what? I'm going to do a speedy up. There we go. Speedy that up. Is it? No, it's not. It's not. There we go. Now it's 2 times speed. That's never going to go wrong with a space station being put into orbit, is it? Anyway, while we're talking, thoughts on the series, thoughts on where the series is going. I would love some comments, actually. I would love you to tell me, you know, do you want to see space stations? Do you want to see us just go straight for a run to Mars? I was thinking about a Mars mission. I mean, if I don't want to bring them home, I could do it any time, I think. However, after our last Mars landing, I think bringing them home, we're looking at quite a tonnage out at Mars, so I'm wondering whether I actually start sending stuff to Mars, like this habitat maybe for orbit, send this to Mars so they can actually be there. My concern is actually the crew going insane on the way there, because they could easily just lose it. Now, I believe I can still transfer crew around, even if they're crazy crew. It might be that they lose the crazy crew if we put them on a planet, but they're going to be away for years. I mean, we're talking 9 months there, 9 months back, 9 months. You know, it's not short journey time going to Mars, and you even in perfect windows, you have to wait to come back. So you're going to be around for a while. We could put them on orbit for a while, or we could leave them on the planet. It doesn't really matter. It's still going to be annoying. So we could do it. It's just about the fact they might lose their minds while they're doing it. Because we might need a big infrastructure. This, I think, will be a little test for us to see how long we can keep crew on orbit. But even then, I mean, we could put a cupola on this, and I think that extends it. But it's just a lot. It's just a lot of stuff, isn't it? Right, we're coming up to the time. There we go. Perfect. Right. Let's decouple. And then I'm going to jump back to this one. And I wonder if we could just, you know what, actually, let's just RCS, turn that off. It's facing, I want it to face normal. And do I have to activate everything? Yeah, we do. We have to actually activate stuff. Right, I'm going to do this. And then that I'm just going to leave. I was going to turn it, but we should have put some RCS on it if we're going to do that. what I want to do is get away from here, because having that just sitting next to us is never going to be a good idea. It's going to end up inside us, isn't it? Yeah. So if I just do a little bit of that. Yeah, that's good. A bit of that. There we go. Just do that. That's fine. Nobody will ever see that as a problem. There we go. Right, so we're on the normal. Now let's see if this system works that I've developed. So I have installed, that's right, we've got breaking ground, which means I've got robotic parts. So the target angle, I want to put the damping up a bit and the traverse rate down, because this is going to be dangerous. I want to go all the way to there. There we go. Right. Are we ready? If these go too far, it's going to look terrible. But you can see they're hinged here and they come down. Now, obviously, I'm playing in 1.10 because, of course, this is an old series, which means I can't send a crew member out to stick these together. I don't have that ability, which is annoying, because a couple of little struts there would be perfect. Now, can I lock them? So can we lock them? Yes, they are locked. That's locked. Now, the only problem I seem to remember is that these things have a habit of unlocking. So we will see what happens there. So extend the solar panels. Let's see what happens. Okay. There we go. This is all looking good. We've got a lot of solar panels. I forgot how many I'd put on. So we've got solar panels for days, because we're going to basically be stocked with electricity. We're on the dark side, so we can actually check. You'll like this. We'll be able to check just how long we can survive as is. I don't know if I've even got the pressurant system on. I need to check that actually. Let's have a look. So do we have we've got you've got the N2 pressurant running. We've got the N2 pressurant running here. We've got scrubbers running. Right, let's have a look. So in the dark, Earth Gateway, in the dark, you are electric charge 28 days. Wow. I suppose we don't actually have crew on board, so we don't have to worry about environmentals. We've got 5 years of nitrogen. Okay, so we won't need to replace that for a while. I don't know where the nitrogen stored is actually. That's a crew tube. I actually did build this properly, so there is sort of, there's the avionics up there. Okay, did I put nitrogen up here? There's the nitrogen, so we'd have to refill the nitrogen there, but we could dock to one of our tiny little transport ports there with a craft with a pointy nose, because I've just realized we've got the things in the way. Yeah. Note to self, might need to redesign our fuel carrying craft if that's what we're trying to dock to. Right, so there it is. Let's get it in the sunlight. Let's at least see it in the sunlight and see what it looks like with 38 tons. So we put 38 tons into orbit there. There we go. There's the station. Oh, isn't it glorious? Yeah, isn't it glorious? I mean, we've got huge amounts of power generation there, and that will fill up the batteries pretty quickly. In fact, if we actually have a look, let's just check. The batteries are full already. I mean, that's perfect for us, isn't it? So there we go. So that's it. We've got the docking at the sections at the bottom. We've got the thrust controller. We've got about 500 meters per second. So if I choose to put it into a higher orbit or a lower orbit, we can do that. I think what I would like is to extend it. But potentially this could be the sort of thing we want to put around Mars as a sort of halfway house, dock to, and think about. We could even send landing craft there with it, prepare a landing craft, have them sat there. Obviously, keep it depressurized, repressurize it prior to crew arrival, that sort of thing. It would be a big possibility, and around Mars, these solar panels would be more than sufficient, I think. So there is that. So I think I'm happy with that. So onwards, maybe we should send a crew up. Let's have a think about that. So this is the contract I'm actually looking for. This is the one I'm actually looking to complete. So it's going to give us 2.5 million. It costs us, I don't know, about 400,000 to launch and prepare and build a station. So that's not a big problem. 4.5 million. Yeah. The big thing here is we've got to have space for 4 crew, which this station does. We've got to basically send it to the boom. We're not going to send this one, but bring at least 2 crew to the station. So we need a craft that can go to the station with 2 crew. They then have to be aboard the station for 30 days. They then have to transfer to the station in the specified orbit. Remain in a stable orbit. Vessel, space station, moon. Have at least 2 stations. Remain in a stable orbit. Transfer to the station in the specified orbit. Oh, that's it. Now, is that because we're not allowed to move the station or something? I don't know. Return the crew home. Keep the station in orbit. So we have this whole thing going on, which I think we can do. It does give us a big chunk of funds. It's good. So we have about 14 days until we've got some Saturn departure windows. So we're going to do those next, and then we may have a crew craft ready to send up. I do not have a resupply vessel ready. So I've got the old ones for those. The dog, when it was the cat 4, or the cat, whatever it was, D or whatever, which I probably need to redesign, maybe change, make it a bit more practical, I think, for our new on-orbit stations. I also want to prepare one for Moon and things like that. And we might want to build one that's capable of going to Mars. So there might be something we want to build, just overbuild it. Right, so we are launching Pathfinder Saturn 1. I'm going to do this speedy uppy in the background sort of thing while I quickly talk. Because we don't need to we don't need to hang around. So yeah, this is going to be the first of the Pathfinders to go out to Saturn. However, it's not our first Saturn craft because we do have Teal 1 and Teal 2 on the way. So I'm going to get this into orbit. You've seen the Pathfinders launch on this craft before. I probably need to actually develop a bigger Pathfinder program or a new version of the Pathfinder, because I think these are reaching their limits, and I'd like to land on some more stuff, and I'd like to put some rovers down in places. But let's get this thing into orbit, and then we shall continue. Right, so we are in orbit, and we have got ourselves a burn that's going to start in about an hour and 14 minutes. And of course, the second that I hit this button here, our apoapsis and periapsis start to move. So we're gonna let that just warp through a little bit. We'll let it spin around. There's no point us targeting it. It'll take a while for us to get on target with it and all that sort of stuff. We'll get it down to about 20 minutes or so, and then we will think about redoing the node. Is actually what I tend to do. I tend to take us to where the node should be or near it, and then we'll redo it and let it work its way out towards that. I don't know how long it'll take for this to swing around. But what I do find is it's very relaxing, the fact that the apoapsis and periapsis randomly change when you're in orbit. Isn't that we can see all the science coming in? We're actually getting upgrade points as we do this. I'm gonna give myself 10 minutes lag time, am I? Yeah, we are. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. We're going to remove all nodes. We're gonna create ASAP. Thank you. That's the one. You're already remove all nodes. Reset, ASAP, create node. There we go. So it's in 8 minutes. So what we'll do is we'll just put ourselves upon the node. I think that is going to take a little time. Will it warp when we do this? Possibly. We'll see. Right, I'm going to get it to the node, and then we'll get the burn and everything underway. Right, I've actually time warped it. I time warped it around to get it to the right position. It gives us about 50 seconds to get into position, which is not great, but we should be able to do it. We've got, what, 40 seconds left. You can see the marker is there. You know what? I keep having to reset this regularly because the apoapsis and periapsis wanders is very annoying. I do wonder what it's like in Principia. Is Principia? Yes. Principia, thank you very much. Principia, I wonder what that's like regarding like orbital wander. I don't know how it stores your orbital details. That'd be quite interesting if anybody could tell me actually how does it store it. Because obviously there is floating point errors that creep in just with the time warp on this one. Now this is interesting, isn't it? It's not actually going to be on time. But then equally this timer at the bottom is often wrong as well. So is the system going to just do that? I don't know. Can we just do a bit of this? Can we just hurry it up a bit? Get me to your node. There we go. I'm just being rude now. I'm just actually forcing it to get onto the target. There we go. Wunderbar. And off we go. So that shall be it. We shall do a bit of the timey-wimey warpy, get it up to 3 times. We've got plenty. Actually, let's have a look how much RCS we've got. We've got loads of RCS on this. So if need be, we could actually have dumped some of the RCS. We should probably end up using the RCS to do a little bit of modification of the old orbit. Although I do want to decouple this before I do any orbital change, because this we're going to get nothing out of this. So this is actually going to be on its own. So I want to decouple this before we do any orbital changes and stuff like that. Just because it'll kick it otherwise, and I hate that. I hate it when it happens. We have 2 targets. on this, and I should say this now. We have 2 targets, so ideally Iapetus and possibly Rhea, because I think this craft might be able to land, actually. That's the thing that's really interesting me. I think this thing might be able to land. If not them, possibly Dion we could maybe get a landing out of. It depends on thrust and things like that for this. And then possibly Tethys just for an orbit. So it depends where we're coming in and how we're coming in. I'm open to options. Again, one of the reasons why I did not take the orbital contracts or the landing contracts on those first 2, because it really depends on how this craft goes. I could have simmed it. I could sim how this is going to go. We could have run it through and done all sorts of wonderful stuff like that. I haven't, because it's not the way it works. We're a very sort of dynamic space program that we're running here. We've got about, what, 50 seconds of burn time. We'll get ready to knock it off. It is getting towards the end of it, and you can see with very little fuel there, but it's got a big punch. So we're going to bring it down in a little bit. I am intrigued to see whether we end up having to use that the transfer stage. Right, bring it down, and there we go. Okay. Right, I'm actually going to... do I want to abort it? Let's have a quick look while it's doing its turn at Saturn. Focus view. How close are we? Where am I coming in at? Oh, this looks quite healthy, actually. Am I coming in the wrong way, though? Yes, I am. So we're going to abort node execution. We're going to remove all nodes. If it's getting pausy, it's obviously feeling guilty from stuff. We're going to put this on the retrograde, and then I'm going to decouple it. We have delta V. We've got 300 meters per second of delta V, which is nothing. I'm willing to eat that, shall we say? We'll get rid of that. And there we go. Do that. We're going to wait until we turn around. You know what? We can actually. We'll do that. I want to just get this thing round while I'm still. Now the interesting thing, I've just realised, we lose signal on this, don't we? So I need it to be doing its stuff and things for me. We're going to have to do this maneuver. This is the thing I should really have. Have you got an antenna on you? You don't. That's annoying. Right. We're okay. That's it. Let's decouple. Yeah, I think we decouple. Yeah, let's do that. Oh no, we've got an extra stage in there that's mystery and isn't there. Right, decouple that. Right, there we go. Turn the RSS off. Oh, you know what? We've got a glitch in there. We have a glitch in the matrix. We also don't have signal. That's a problem. So what's actually happening is this is too tight and this is catching. So we've changed something so that this now sticks. Okay, we're going to let this just separate. Yeah, it's warped through it. You notice I had to wait until it had gone all the way through, but that shouldn't have happened. Right, let's have a look at Saturn and see what we're looking at. Am I going to have to do a maneuver is the question I'm now asking myself. Because that was actually quite nice, but we want to be coming in. We want to be coming in the other way, ideally, do we? Yeah, we do. We want to come in the other way. And we don't want Titan. What's this angle we're coming? We see that's quite nice for Tethys, actually. If we're coming in like that, we could do something with that. So that could be, so that's target. That could be a nice little target there. Right. So we've got to wait about 24 hours anyway for the next craft to get in. Whoa, we are very close to that, aren't we? It's very annoying. Right. I think we aim for Tethys with this one if we can. So jump to thing, because what we actually want to do is we want to get signal. We're just going to get signal. Can I bounce it? Here's a question. What is my transmitter on its X-band? Don't have an X-band around the moon, do I? That's annoying. Right. The positive is when we get some of our newer satellites set up, I think I'm going to have X-bands on them, which means we can then actually bounce off that. So where am I aiming for? Give me the base stations. Where's my base stations? There we are. Right. I want Gran Canaria. Not really. Ascension. No. There should be one around here. Where is it? No. You are, no, Johannesburg, no. Oh, that's Africa. Where am I over? I'm over the US, am I? So where's Vandenberg? Goldstone. I should be able to get Goldstone from here. Let's target Goldstone. Let's have a look. Antenna targeting. Good. Vessel, no. Body center, no. Fixed body point, no. Oh, that's all annoying. I've just remembered about that. Yeah, that doesn't work. Body center, Earth. Yeah. Close that. Right, we just have to wait until we get. We just have to wait until we get a signal, and then we can do our stuff and things. It's annoying, but we do. You know what? We might, if we're flying. Oh, come on. Come on, just give me something. Give me something. How long have we been going now? As long as we don't hit 1 day, I'm okay. Because that means that we can still launch the next craft in the next day. So the probe is out of power. Yeah, we knew that was going to happen. Right, come on. Just give me something that was. We're coming out. The only problem is the antenna on this is actually quite narrow band for this sort of thing. So we may never actually get it. Do I actually have... Do we have... Where is the moon? Oh, and of course the moon is... Do I have a signal to the moon? What, it doesn't tell me what we've got going. You know what? Let's just try something. Let's try something. I don't know. Antenna targeting. Let's go center of body. Let's go moon. Where's moon? Moon. Okay. Close. Right. Am I now targeting center of body? Yeah, there's nothing on the moon firing back at us, so that's all right. So we know we don't have an antenna on the moon because we'd get it with that. We would actually have had it with that. Let's do Earth again. Close that. We could, if I was clever, I'd put azimuth and all that sort of stuff in, and we could probably get a station, but no, it is not going to happen. Right, there we go. Let's run this a bit more. How far are we along? 2 hours. That's fine. We can go. We can afford to go a bit. All right, we should get something soon. Something anytime now. The problem is that the further we get from Earth, the less impact any sort of velocity changes have on what I'm doing. And I can't... Can I add a maneuver? I suppose I could add a maneuver. But there's no point adding a maneuver because I cannot actually do the maneuver. I could get MechChip to do it, but that's a bit cheaty. You know, I have certain standards. Come on, give me a signal. One of them must be visible by now. We must have one of them because the 3 points around the system. There we go. Got it. Right, what's that? We're almost past the moon. Right. Add maneuver. Right, let's go and have a look. Don't want to be there. I actually want to be looking around Saturn, don't I? Right. Oh, don't you love it when it's maneuver time with sea monsters? Focus view on Iapetus. Right. I actually want to focus on Saturn because although I want to go to Iapetus, I don't know if I do or not. Nope. Let me come in and let's see if I can get a focus on Saturn. Right. First things first. Let's see about maneuvers. What if I do this? Right, that now comes in the other way. That's better. It's a bit too much the other way though. What's that? Okay. What about a bit of this? Ooh, that's different. I do a bit of that. And then a bit of this. Ooh, that is special. But then I want to come in again. I think we're just going to have to try and put our periaps on the ascending descending node so that we can actually do this cheaply. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to go for. We're going to go for an ascending descending node cheapness. So we'll come in tight like so, and that will hopefully other way go that way, and then do this more that way, and do this. It is interesting. It really wants to turn over, doesn't it? How close am I willing to get? is the question. I mean, the alternative is that we actually do the plane change, or we do some sort of plane change as we come in out here, which is something we could do. Let's so that's only 7 meters per second, but we're not really bringing our periaps in. So let's imagine we bring our periaps in as close as we can. Is that as close as we can get our periaps? It sort of is. That's going back out again. That's going back out again. I think that is as close as we can get our periaps. So it's within, on the edge of the rings. We're actually better off doing nothing. So 0 that, 0 that, 0 that. Right, okay. Let's have a look. So we're coming in, that's the route we're coming in. I don't really want to get rid of that maneuver node, but I'm going to. And then if we do a plane change right back here. There we go. Right back there. I don't know what our relative velocity is going to be. If we do a little bit of a, I don't know, a radial out even. Or radial in. Radial in would be good, wouldn't it? Just flip it around. How much is that going to cost us? Ooh, hello. What's that do? That's now a positive number. That's exciting. And then pull it out, and there we go. That then means 100 and something gets us into that ballpark. Okay, and then if we just, how high is that? That is a lot closer. What does this do? Ooh, that's juicy fruit, isn't it? That's a little bit of juicy. And then a little bit more of that. Oh, I like it. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, in fact. How far can I take it? You know what? I don't need to do that. I'm gonna put it on there. There. Right, if I put that on there, and if I actually refine that when we get there as much as possible. There we go. Do that. Put that there. That's a sending node on periaps. That means once I do a capture there, we will have pretty much an apoapsis and a descending node. Then we can align via Petus, and that's good. The alternative is to go for rear. Where's rear looking at? You know what this is? We could go for either of them. It really doesn't matter actually doing this approach, does it? So I think we'll do that. We're gonna put a timer in for that. Yeah, I'm actually going to rename the craft. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll rename it first. So, oh, hello. Do that. Rename. Why is it spinning completely? We're going to rename it to Iapetus. There we go. Iapetus is ready. We can get rid of that. There it goes. It reappears. Is that spelt right? Iapetus. Yes, it looks right to me. Right. I do not like the spin that this has developed. However, this thing does develop spin. Actually, we know this. This is something about the way this is designed and built that we don't like, but we'll live with it. Right. I think in that case, we're ready for this one to rock and roll. We didn't actually have to wait. We're going to give us 10 minutes beforehand for that maneuver. We're going to add it. Where is that maneuver? So we've got the series one in. Well, it's a long time to go for that one. Iapetus, where are you? Where are you, man? Maneuver node. Saturn 1 Iapetus. There we go. So that's going to arrive. Are you kidding me? It's arriving about 2 months after Teal 1. Seriously? It arrives before Teal 2. Wow, that is a journey and a half, isn't it? That is quite impressive. Well done. Well done, Saturn Pathfinder. You're actually going to be going it, which will mean it can actually act as a relay as well. if I had another dish on it, but I don't, so that doesn't work for us. Okay. Well, as always, at the moment, we seem to be launching in the dark when we're trying to do stuff. I think partly it's because we're launching into the plane of the moon, and at this point in the month, the moon is, well, it's not great. So we're always launching into dark. I think we also do our departures in the dark because we're going to the outer planet, so it's just a dark missions, isn't it? So anyway, yeah, this is Pathfinder Saturn 2. It's just a copy of Saturn 1. It's just going to go up there, put itself into orbit. Once we're in orbit, we can do some of the departure stuff, and then we'll jump back for that. So yeah, let's get this thing into orbit. It doesn't seem to be any problems. This launch vehicle is so consistent now. It's pretty boring, actually. Right, we have our approach to Saturn plotted, and as usual, I'm just, you know what, we've got an interaction with Saturn. I'm not even going to look at it. We'll see what happens after the burn is finished. I'm going to try something a little different this time. So I'm going to actually line us with the node now. We'll warp until we're nearby. Then I'll cancel the node, create a new one, take into account the fact that we've actually done a little bit of moving around and stuff like that. I think that might work. So let me get this going and we'll see what happens. Right, we've taken it down to 16 seconds. We're going to remove all nodes. We're going to reset this. We're going to create ASAP, create a node. That should be in about 5 seconds now, 7 seconds. Right, we're going to execute the next node. Everything should be ready. It's basically aligned. There's only a slight variation from it. And we should get ignition pretty much on time, which would be quite nice actually if it wants to get it starting up. So there we go. Obviously the stock timer runs a little bit quicker, a little bit ahead, because these engines don't need it straight away. For some reason, I don't know. I don't really understand what the difference is. There's always a difference of time. The burn is 4 minutes. Oh, there we go. And we have ignition. Right. I'm going to run this forward, and we'll put that orbit thing back over there. We'll run this forward, see what happens, and I shall see you at the end of the burn, I think. And here we go, just finishing off the burn in 4, 3, 2, and 1. And there we go. Look at that. Oh, terrible. 2.2 meters per second out. And I think the last one was a bit closer than that. We'll have to see. Of course, we get the freeze where it saves because it hasn't saved for 4 minutes. You got to avoid the joy that was that. So let's have a look at what are we actually looking at. Oh, it's surprisingly close to predicted when you actually look at it like this, isn't it? So we're coming in at a horrendous angle. What was their plan? The plan was actually to come in polar. That's interesting. It seems to do that a lot, doesn't it? So we'll let it swing round. And when it gets near to where it needs to be, I will decouple this thing. And then we'll do that. Put us on retrograde. Yeah, I want to get this periaps as low as possible. Thank you very much. Yeah. Right, that's about it, is it? I want to go this way. Let's go that way, and then bit of that. No, I don't like it. Wonder if we could just do. I wonder if we could just do that. Yeah, that's as good as we're gonna get. Leave it like that. Leave it like that, sea monsters. Don't worry about it. All right. Now you saw that, so it's at an angle. It's about 90,000, whatever it was. Right, now we're going to do the decouply couple. And I'm going to move that into there. Because these engines, actually, I might as well have ready, because they're restartable. So we're ready. Here we go. We're going to warp this through. There we go. Do that. Put that on retrograde. Oh, we've got a Petus sphere of influence change. Close that alarm. Oh, turn off the RCS. What's going on there? One of the decouplers we're using is doing something, or it's like almost like a residue is left on. It sets us in the right sort of inclination. We're out by 23 degrees, but if we have to, we'll do a big inclination change there. Ideally, what we could do is capture and then try and do some flipping around somewhere. So that's going to be 77. Let's add that maneuver. Actually, first of all, while we're spinning crazy on the top, you'll notice the speed has increased on this spin. Even though we are not actually doing anything with this craft, it has got a phantom force. So it is something with this craft. I wonder whether it's a little outriggers, whether they're interacting. I hadn't thought about that. That might be a problem. All right, so this is going to be going to rear. Right, we are just firing the RCS on this one because it is taking forever to slow down. It's actually been tumbling horrendously. Right, I'm going to sit with this maneuvering, but I think we need to be aware of the fact this is actually coming in quite high. I don't think that is the maneuver that we'll actually be doing anymore. So you know what? We've gone out of the sphere of influence. It's bound to have migrated. Let's get it. Let's just do it again. Okay, let's have a look. 150. Changing the inclination. What we actually at? We're at 20. Wow. So rear actually might end up being the easier one. Ironically, we started out. Eupetus looked as it was going to be really good. We could go back and sort out the other craft, but I don't really want to do stuff again. In fact, I might do it off camera. No, I'm not. I'm gonna leave it as it is. If we can't land at Eupetus, we can't land. We just orbit. That's the way it's going to be. Even if we might not even orbit, we might just do stuff fly by. But we've got better science equipment, so we'll at least get stuff and things. Note to self: what is the required? Yeah, this is the important bit, isn't it? Where's the mission for? We'll get that back up for Saturn that we took, because I've just had a thought. Where are we? Saturn. Saturn, we've got to have a maximum apoapsis of 1 million kilometers, which is less than Rhea. So the craft going to Rhea, as long as we capture and bring it down to an apoapsis of actually half of Rhea. Titan. So Titan doesn't allow it, but Rhea, yeah, would. I thought I'd already taken that. That's interesting. Maybe we didn't because Titan's too high. That's why. So yeah, so potentially we'll do it with Rhea. Wonderful. Brilliant. Right. I think after all that joyous maneuver noding, we need to move